Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of the Owl Podcast. In this episode, we're speaking with Shannon Pinkston. Shannon's located in the Dulles, Virginia area, has her private pilot's license, and has extensive knowledge in corporate transportation. Shannon is also out looking for her next new adventure. She loves aviation and wants to stay in the industry. If you want to get a hold of Shannon directly, reach out to dispatch@ldaviation.net. Good afternoon, Shannon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Today we're going to highlight Shannon Pinkston. She is in the Virginia, Dulles area and has been in the industry for quite a while. And we're going to hear her story of how she got into the industry and what she's been doing lately. So let's start out with Shannon. How did you get into the industry?
I've always had a love of aviation. Started back in my college days. I actually became a private pilot and always enjoyed flying and just being at the airport, helping people. And so just over the years, I've been doing a lot of customer service and FBO work. My latest job was with BAE Systems, and that's where I was doing scheduling and dispatching. And that job sort of fell into my lap, lucky for me. A former coworker there reached out to me through Facebook saying that they were looking to hire someone to get into scheduling and dispatching. So that's how I got that job. And it was really just a dream job. Really enjoyed it while it lasted. But due to COVID,
Also,
I was furloughed and then laid off, unfortunately. So
that COVID has hit a lot of us really hard.
Yeah.
So Shannon, I'm kind of curious, how many hours do you have flying? Do you fly anymore?
I don't fly anymore. I sort of sidetracked away from that after getting my private pilot license with having a family and kind of taking that route for a little bit. But then when my daughter was 3, I got back into FBO work and did that for about 9 years at Dulles Airport. And then from there, straight into some ground transportation experience with Reston Limousine and U.S. Sedan Service. And then did a little bit of trucking transportation just to do something, learn something new. Dabbled there briefly for about a year and a half when I was approached for the BAE job. So always in travel in some form or another, I guess you could say.
That's great. Yeah, so you have a really strong background in executive transportation and all sorts of transportation, it sounds like.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe give me an example or some correlation. What is trucking scheduling similar to the scheduling that we might do as a scheduler?
It's different. I mean, it's more you're not delivering people, you're delivering product mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. The schedules are a lot different. It's a lot more relaxed. And, the company that I worked for actually contracted out to trucking companies.
Okay.
The drivers and the trucks. And so I didn't actually do any of that scheduling per se. The scheduling that I did was more, of having the, making sure that the trucks were all loaded, the trailers were loaded, and then scheduling when those were all going to be delivered and that kind of thing.
So very interesting. Yeah, it does. It sounds different.
Yeah.
But exciting to learn something new.
It was.
Definitely.
It was. Yeah, I was happy with aviation because that was my true passion.
Sure. Oh, great. Well, good. Okay. So, if talking about your true passion, is there any part of that job that specifically you really love? Like, what's your favorite piece of it? Or what are you best at?
I would say, for me, it's thinking outside the box when something in particular goes wrong, how to quickly recover in a situation and turn it around and make it a positive experience, especially for the mass.
Yeah, and that's like the ultimate, right, of the experience for the passengers.
Mm-hmm. And I think my background in ground transportation is really strong in that effect because I do know what can go wrong. I do know how to turn it around and recover, in certain situations.
Well, that's great and super important because we all know that the entire trip could go fine. And if that transportation is not ready and ready to go once the passenger arrives, seems like the whole trip has gone badly.
It could be a disaster.
Very important. Yes, super important. All right. Well, how about outside of aviation? What passions do you have? What things do you like to do?
I do spend a lot of time with my kids. I have 4, and 2 are young adults in their mid-20s, and then 2 are still in school. One's in 9th grade, and the other one is in 7th grade. So I have, adult kids and kids. So we do a lot of time together and do things outside the home. And really one of my favorite places is the beach.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people, but when you don't live near the beach, that seems to be a little more exciting.
No, for sure. Right. When it's cold and
Yeah,
we've got snow.
yep.
For sure. Oh, for sure. That's cool. So you're really running the gamut of that's middle school, high school, and then I guess real life school.
Well, yeah, and they're pretty good kids, all of them. So I'm very lucky.
Oh, that's wonderful. Very cool. Very cool. So what is your end goal in this industry? What would you like to be doing?
Anything really, as long as it is in aviation. And I love the BAE job. It was there were a lot of tasks to complete, a lot of things that could change day to day. I always just enjoyed what I did, and helping everyone in the department. And, just the whole scheduling part of it, making reservations for crew and for passengers, just everything. I really enjoyed all of it. I could pace myself, do what's most important, first, and then move down the line. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Maybe how about let's go on the opposite side. What is your maybe least favorite thing of this job?
I don't have one yet.
Okay, all right.
Honestly, I could surmise that it might be with some flight departments being 24/7 rather than what I had at BAE was Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. A lot of our passengers were just the executives in the company. And so we would fly them to different locations for meetings. And some of those meetings would be same day where the trip would go out and come back. Occasionally there would be an overnight, 1 or 2 nights. Even our London trips were only 2 to 3 nights long. But it was always Monday. So I really didn't have any evening stuff. Occasionally, yes. When a flight would come back from Europe at night.
Sure.
But virtually nothing on the weekends. So probably boiled that way.
That's awesome, though. If you can get it, that's cool.
Yeah. I can anticipate that with a larger flight department or a different type of flight department, that would be very different and maybe not as fun.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping, especially with this COVID now, that if somebody has a department like that, I'm really hoping that they would embrace the whole remote idea.
Yes.
That this job really can be done remotely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I did a lot of remote work with BAE, especially like I said, if the flight came back in the evening. I wouldn't be in the office until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, but I would still be flight following, on my computer at home. And so, making those phone calls to the FBO, making sure customs had showed up, ground transportation was there, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, great. Very cool. So, it sounds like you might be open to a remote or an in-office type of situation.
Absolutely.
Depending on the location.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. All right. How about kind of a different question? What if you were to talk to somebody who is coming into the industry or somebody who perhaps is new, but wants to stay in this industry, any suggestions you have for them?
I would say maybe looking into getting a dispatcher's license. That's something that I don't have. And I'm seeing in the market now that that is an important component. And so maybe during this downtime, I will check into that and better myself by learning how to be a, licensed dispatcher. Just any sort of training, I think, outside of the position is helpful. Schedulers and dispatchers is always great for that with their sessions, during the convention. I always went as many as I could, sometimes forgetting to walk the floor because I was, in different classes. So I just think that great classes important. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I had some more of that in my background. I might have hands-on experience and less, book experience, but I think a healthy balance of both is important.
Definitely. And I really think, with your private pilot license, that dispatch license will probably not be difficult for you to complete.
I could imagine not. So I'm seriously, I have been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks. And I think I'm going to do some research and see what I can figure out.
Yeah, well, that sounds great.
Yep.
Well, wonderful. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for talking with us today. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to get a hold of Shannon, feel free to just pop me an email, just dispatch@lvaviation.net, and we'll get you guys hooked up.
Great. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. Thank you, Shannon.
Bye.